Welcome back to Central News for your Thursday. I'm Janelle Burnside. Now, succession planning is on the tip of the tongues of small business owners because it is going to be quite a big issue for them. And joining me now to tell me why and what can be done about it is Michelle Malcolm. Welcome to the show, Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. Now, because I know succession planning, it's a big one. Why is it going to be such a big issue for business owners?
Well, the reason it's going to be such a big issue is there's an annual survey that's done, and 85% of business owners are actually between the age of 54 and 55 years, which means that in the next sort of 5 years, they're expecting that about 41% of those businesses are actually going to come up on the market for sale.
Yeah.
So it's a huge issue because, you know, your business is like your retirement. You know, when you're expecting to get good money out of that, you put your heart and soul into your business, and that's going to be part of your nest egg for your retirement.
And I think most of the people, the small business owners, privately owned, they've owned their business for years, they've built it up. And
exactly. It's their baby. It's their baby,
yeah.
You know. They've got their children and it's their baby that they've created the brand, and, you know, they just want it to be passed on to someone that's going to take it over, but also, you know, it's their nest egg for their retirement.
Yeah. Do you think people just aren't aware of the fact that they may not get what they want for it?
I agree, yeah. I think people probably aren't aware. They just think, you know, we'll put it on the market and we'll get what we want for it. A bit like selling a house, really.
Yeah.
Problem is, because there's going to be like 40, you know, such a big tidal wave of businesses come on the market, it's going to be a buyer's market. It's not going to be a seller's market, which means that if it's like your house. If your house is not ready for sale, you're not going to get top dollar. And that's where I think business owners really need to be prepared to make sure that when they do sell, they do get top dollar and consider all the things that the prospective buyer is actually going to be looking at.
Yeah. So if people are looking at maybe putting it on the market in 5 years, do they need to start now?
They do.
Yeah.
Our WHK's experience is that it normally takes about 2 years to get your business fine-tuned for sale. So the sooner you start that, you know, putting it in place, the better, really, because also you hear horror stories about people, you know, they get sick and they have to put their business on the market sort of, you know, unexpectedly. So the sooner you actually have it ready for sale, the better, I think, because it also just brings in good business practices and that as well, sort of good governance, you know, assessing the risks in your business and just making sure that the risks are as low as possible.
Yeah, and I think because you can't just pass it on to your family members, can you?
Well, that's what I think a lot of business owners think they're going to do. But the problem is that, you know, the younger generation, they could also go and buy another business. So it might be mum and dad's business. Mum and dad think they're going to take it over, but there's going to be so much choice for them out there. They're going to go, well, actually, Mum and Dad, your business isn't quite the business that I could be buying. I could actually go and buy Joe Blogg's business and I'll actually have a better business and pay the same sort of money.
Yeah.
So even though that's probably what parents are thinking, I think that they're going to be, it's not going to quite happen that way.
Yeah, sometimes especially your children can surprise you and they don't want to do it, do they?
Definitely. You know, they don't want to always follow Mum and Dad, and and also funds are going to be in short supply too, because with the recession, you know, the banks are not so keen to lend money, so they're going to be wanting to only lend out on those good businesses out there. So if you're hoping that, you know, your son or daughter is going to be able to go to the bank and get money, it might not be that's the case.
Yeah. So what do you need to do?
Good question. You need to plan. I know that sounds like a cliche word, but you just need to plan. So you need to sort of almost put yourself in the purchaser's shoes. And when a purchaser looks at a business, they look at due diligence, and they go through they normally will engage an accountant. We do a lot of this for our clients at WHK. So it's actually stepping into their shoes, into the purchaser's shoes, and looking at what we would look at from a due diligence point of view. So, you know, who are the key people within the business? If it's the owners, you've almost got to make yourself redundant to get top dollar, because if you're a key part of the business, then a person coming in is going to go, well, that's a big risk. Those clients might actually leave if you're no longer part of the business. So sort of make yourself redundant, make sure that you've got good contracts with your suppliers and with your clients, good profitability, so actually making sure that whatever you're putting through the business, you know, you're not spending too much on advertising. Just try and make it look as pretty as what you can, sort of, you know, 3 to 5 years prior to selling, so that when somebody comes in, because quite often what happens is businesses, they put it on the market, they might have had one good year, and then they try and say, well, we know that it's going to be good, but we have to look at what's happened historically. So we sort of can't take that hearsay, so to speak, going forward.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's so important how you said, you know, because normally the business owners, especially small privately owned business, the business owners are the key players. Yeah. That's the reason why the business is going ahead. And that's going to be a huge issue for them to step back, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, it is. It's the hardest thing for them to have to do is actually let go.
Yeah.
And maybe hire a manager to come in that can carry on when they sell their business, so that the owner coming in goes, well, actually, we've got somebody good that knows the ropes. And I think, because it has been their baby, it's the hardest thing to actually step back. But unless you do that, you're actually not going to get top dollar, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's what you want at the end of the day. I mean, you want to be able to retire, you want to be able to let it go and do it.
So that's where we can help them sort of to show you've actually got to do this if you want to get top dollar.
So where do we go for more information? We can go to a company like yours?
You can go to a company like ours, WHK. We've got some really good information on our website, which is www.whk.co.nz. We're actually also, because we're really concerned about this issue for business owners in New Zealand, we're actually going to be holding a free seminar on the 23rd of November in Tauranga that anyone can come to. So if somebody wants to come along, they can ring us at WHK Tauranga, which is 075712 and come along. We're going to have one of our valuation experts, Gary McLaughlin, from our WHK office. He's going to be speaking on what you actually need to be thinking about. If you're in the shoes of a valuation specialist, what is he going to be looking for, and in order to make sure that you do get top dollar, so that we can actually start to think about that. And we're going to actually have a lawyer come and talk at that seminar as well, because there's a whole lot of legal issues you need to be thinking about. But we're really concerned that it's that people aren't prepared, and we want to really go out and help people to make sure that they do achieve their goals.
Yeah, well, that will be fantastic, that seminar. I mean, it's happening during the day, is that right?
We've sort of made it at night time, so it starts at 5:30.
Cool.
So that people can come along, and because, most people that are in business, they can't afford to have time off during the day, so that's why 5:30 is a much better time.
Yeah, and we can get all the information we need.
Yep, all the information, and then afterwards you can, have a chat too. There'll be quite a few of us there. You'll be able to have a chat to us, just, what your concerns are, and, how you go about to make sure you put a plan in place.
Fantastic. Michelle, thank you so much for joining me today.
No problems.
Michelle Malcolm there from WHK. WHK.co.nz if you want a little bit of more information. Don't forget about that free seminar, which will be happening on the 23rd of November, 5:30. Make sure you contact them for more details. Right, coming up after the break, we're taking a look at a WinTech voucher scheme that's going to be helping out the community.